Every year I have people that call in and complain about their neighbors who water constantly and to keep their yard looking good. And the one thing that I try and remind them is every sprinkler provides a different amount of water, and so you have to be aware that not all sprinklers are created equal. They all take a certain amount of time to distribute the water that they're applying to the area that you're trying to water, and some need to go on a lot longer than others. And so really, for your lawn to stay green and healthy throughout the summer, even when it's 90 to 100 degrees, the lawn needs somewhere between an inch and an inch and a half of water applied, usually in 2 or 3 waterings. And so if you're going for an inch and a half because it's July and you really want to keep your lawn looking green, you need to set your sprinklers so that they come on 2 or 3 times a week, not every day, but we need to let that soil dry out in between waterings, get the root system to go deeper. So really, if you can do it every 2 or 3 days, you'll see a lot better results. So 2 or 3 times a week to apply an inch and a half of water, and it really depends on the kind of sprinklers that you have, how long you have to leave them on. So at my house, I actually have some containers that I use so you can actually measure how much water your lawn how much water your sprinklers apply to your lawn with every application. If you get with a USU Extension, they'll actually come in and do a survey in your yard for you for free. They don't charge anything for it. They will come and they'll actually tell you how much water your sprinklers put out in a certain amount of time and how good your coverage is on your sprinklers, and then you can fix some of the problems so that your lawn will look a lot nicer. So it's a great service that the USU Extension provides to come and assess your water needs and actually how your sprinklers work and their efficiency as well too. So a sprinkler like this, one that you attach to your hose and just put in a location, this sprinkler at full pressure will cover about a 30-foot circle, and you can put a sprinkler like this out and leave it on for usually about a half an hour to 40 minutes, and it will put out about a half of an inch to 3/4 of an inch of water in about 30 minutes. And so it actually puts out a pretty high volume of water in a shorter amount of time. A sprinkler like Rainbird, a Rainbird sprinkler like this also comes in Aggie designer colors. A sprinkler like this, it moves around, and so it doesn't hit all the locations that it provides water to at the same time, like this one does. This sprinkler just sprays out, it hits the whole area all at once. This, as it moves around, it distributes a lot more water at each location, but it has to move around to distribute that water, so it's not hitting all those spots at the same time. You have to leave this sprinkler on longer to get the same volume of water that this one would put out. And so normally you would leave this on somewhere between 40 to maybe even 60 minutes to get the same amount of water distributed as you would with a stationary sprinkler like this. So gotta leave it on longer. So my sprinkling system at home, I have some pop-up sprinklers that spray all over the place all at the same time, kind of similar to these. I leave those on for about 20 to 25 minutes to put out 3/4 of an inch of water. My other sprinklers that pop up and move around, those gear-driven sprinklers that are very similar to the Rainbird, I have to leave those on for 40 to 50 minutes to get the same amount of volume, but they cover a much larger area. So we're covering a bigger area with a sprinkler like this, but you have to leave them on longer to get the same amount of water to come out. With dancing waters or an oscillating sprinkler like this, you'd be surprised how much water or how much time it takes for this to distribute water, because it moves back and forth. So this is like one of the fun sprinklers you put out there so your kids can run through the sprinkler and stay cool during the summertime. It will do a large area. These will do up to 3,000 square feet. So you put it in the middle of your lawn, turn the sprinkler on, and it moves back and forth. And so it also moves like the Rainbird sprinklers. It has to move to cover that large of an area. For this to put out a half of an inch of water, if you read the instructions on it, it takes anywhere between 4 to 6 hours for the sprinkler to put out a half of an inch of water. And so you've got to leave it on a lot longer. So a lot of people will set this, put it on a timer, turn it on at night, let it go throughout the night, maybe go for 6 to 8 hours to put out their 3/4 of an inch of water. And it will saturate all the way down through the soil. But they're not wasting water, they're actually applying the correct amount of water, or what it says on the sprinkler. So every sprinkler produces a different amount of water, it covers a different size area, so it really depends on each individual sprinkler how long you have to leave them on. So don't criticize people that are watering for longer periods of time until you understand how their sprinklers work and how long they need to last, how long they need to run to put out that correct amount of water. What we're really shooting for is 1 inch to 1.5 inches of water applied in 2 or 3 applications throughout the summer to keep your lawn looking good. So in your particular situation, you may have to leave your sprinklers on longer than even your neighbor would, because their sprinkler setup is a little bit different. So what you need to recognize is that we want to water the proper amount. We don't want to overwater, and we need to apply the correct amount of water in multiple applications throughout the week to keep the lawn looking good. And one of the best ways to do that is to get the USU Extension to come and analyze your watering and do an assessment to see how productive your sprinklers are, how effective and how efficient they are at distributing that water, and they'll actually help you figure out how much time to leave those on as well too. So there's some great services around in Cache Valley for you to use, and some great opportunities for you to be able to utilize less water by analyzing your sprinklers and making sure that they're working properly.